If there's anything that can go wrong in life, it usually will. Life is guaranteed to have difficulties, challenges, and setbacks. And sometimes you feel that the ground has just caved in from under your feet. And when you think that nothing else can go wrong, something actually does. Even if you consider yourself to be a very strong character, sometimes, some days, so much goes wrong that you feel you're never being able to cope again. Hi, this is Mariella from E-Cono-Me, the place to be where you can get your mindset and your business solutions. If you've been enjoying these videos, please do subscribe and drop a like because it means so much to us, and it also means that you'll be able to get so many more videos, notifications from us, which we do every single week. And in today's session, we are going to talk about something that all of us face, and this is setbacks and challenges. So, like I said, we all have setbacks and life happens, but more often than not, it's our perception of how we look at a particular incident that really influences our reaction rather than the incident itself. Let's face it, when one thing goes wrong, you usually take a deep breath and you cope. But then the second thing goes wrong, and then the third thing goes wrong, and you start to panic. But actually, if you take the second incident and the third incident isolated, you can usually deal with them. But when problems get compounded, they throw you into overwhelm. And you think, how on earth am I going to solve these challenges? So what I did this week was very interesting. I have a Facebook group which is called Lady Boss on Fire. It's a closed book. It's only for women, but we do have E-Cono-Me page as well, which is available to you guys as well. But I asked a question. I said, if we had to write mantras, a mantra that would help us overcome a problem when we have a huge setback, when we have a challenge, which mantra would we tell ourselves in order to help us propel ourselves forward? And I'm going to read out some of the mantras which I received because they have been so enlightening. Let's have a look at them. So I'm going to read a couple of the mantras which I've received, and AV told me I have this quote on my desk. It's where I face the most tough challenges of my day, and it goes like this: she believed she could, so she did. Another one said, Tasha told me, I watch this particular reality TV show and the host always says, what other people think of you is actually none of your business. Now that's a cute one, don't you think? And Jennifer said, my hubby and I have this quote on our desk, and it says, you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. And this is our mantra. And then Zen said, only rough seas make good sailors. That's a good one. And Zoe said, you are the most valuable investment you will ever make. I like that so much. You're busy doubting yourself while some others are so intimidated by your potential. Sharon is watching a TV show and she's drawn inspiration from Caroline McHugh, who says the art of being yourself. I think that is definitely worth watching. And Lillian told us, if you can't do great things, do small things in a great way. Graciela told us, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And Sarah said she believed she could, so she did. Or, always believe in yourself and others will believe in you. Josiane said, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, which I've used later. And Tilly says, take it seriously, but wear it lightly. And Isabella said, I'm a lean, keen, high-performing machine. I like that too. And Margaret told us, failure is not an option. Laura said, believe it to achieve it. Now, these are all amazing mantras, and we need to have our mantras set in place to remind ourselves that we will overcome the problems we have. But I have now picked up my favorite 5, and I will explain why they are my favorite. So, whether we're facing a career-related setback or even a life setback, our first reaction is always a knee-jerk. We usually respond with anger, with defeat, with sadness, and even panic. If we are in a position, we also shift the blame on someone because it is so much easier to shift the blame and cope like that. These reactions are actually quite normal, and it's our defense mechanism that kicks in order to help us overcome the roadblocks and the challenges that we have to overcome as women, as human beings, as the people we are that are responsible for our lives. So even if you are the most successful and steel-nerved person, you will have problems. And actually, I have looked at some of the most successful people in order to overcome setbacks. So I've looked at Oprah Winfrey, whose life was a constant battle with her ethnicity, her upbringing, her struggles, and she became the world's best talk show host and the queen of challenges. We've drawn inspiration from Steve Jobs, the business magnate who co-founded Apple, only to be ditched by his own board and later called back to save the brand. And how about Mark Cuban? At 22, Mark worked at a bank and contributed to the CEO by sending him notes on how to save the bank some money. Well, the CEO absolutely didn't appreciate that and let Mark know in no uncertain words. Mark left the bank, slept at friends' houses. He later got a job at a PC software company, but got fired again until today. He is a billionaire in the tune of 4.3 billion. He became a successful entrepreneur. So the list can go on and on and on. And certainly people who have overcome challenges have big stories to tell. And when we keep stuff in perspective, many of us are not lined to become Oprah, Jobs, or Cuban, but we do need help in order to help us face our setback. And it is for this reason that I've prepared my 5 magic mantras from people who have influenced my life or from stuff I've picked up from my girls on my Facebook page, and I have thought a lot about them. And my first pick is Tony Robbins. Now, Tony Robbins is famous for his Date with Destiny, amongst massive coaching trainings that impact thousands of lives. Love him or hate him, the giant certainly knows how to articulate his magic and powerful words. And I would really like to choose this first mantra from him. Life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. The idea has so much power. It can be so relevant to both our professional as well as our personal lives. Some people believe that life is happening to them, and because of this, they get weighed down when something bad happens. But other people believe that life is happening for them, and that each and every incident, whether it's good, whether it's bad, is going to shape them into the person that they are meant to become. Now, these aren't my words, these are from Tony Robbins, but the power of these words really can't be denied, and it's such a great mantra to help us, each and every one of us, to overcome our setbacks. We sometimes have to forget about competition. We have to stop worrying about the economy. I know we're living through such difficult times with COVID, because we have the power to take control of our lives and make our own choices. This is so impactful. And now I go to the second one, another one of my mentors who I really like so much, and this time it's Marie Forleo. Now, Marie could be my best friend, except she doesn't know I exist. right? She could be the girl next door to anyone with her simple, direct, unbelievable, honest approach to life and business. By her own admission, the phrase has been passed on to her by her own mother, and it goes like this: everything is figure-outable. Now, Marie Forleo has built her own award-winning TV show, Marie TV, and I really recommend you have a look at it. And she's grown her business to actually rival that of Oprah Winfrey on YouTube. So what everything is figure-outable, and this is definitely not correct English, not even correct American, really means is that in the end, there is a solution to absolutely mostly everything. I prefer to look at the mantra in a way which is a little bit different. I prefer to look at it as looking at the setbacks from a rear view mirror. So I keep everything in perspective. How many times has something happened to us and we panic and we think, we rave, we rant, but then a week later, a month later, perhaps a year later, depending on how huge the incident was, it grows smaller in its significance, and it grows smaller in intensity and in its perspective. It might still hurt, but I've always found that keeping everything in perspective has helped me with a lot of things. So when I panic, I tell myself, propel yourself a week from now, a month from now, and see how you might feel about this. In that sense, everything is figure-outable. The third one is another nice mantra, and the author is unknown, but I really love to use it. And it is, the comeback is always stronger than the setback. I've heard different versions of this. One of them obviously is what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. It was even used by one of my ladies in Lady Boss on Fire. But I certainly prefer to think that the comeback is always stronger than the setback as a mantra, because it really helps me calm myself whenever I have challenges. It has such a great way of projecting my problems and keeping them today, whereas I project myself into the future. So it's a way of grinding the ashes and rising like the phoenix. And sometimes we feel so totally paralyzed by analysis, by paralysis, that we can't see the way forward. We have this fog that we just can't pull away from our eyes. And many times we're even more afraid to move and make a decision. And this is where I'm going to tell you something that you might think is totally weird. Better a bad decision than no decision. I know it sounds so strange, but bad decisions can be fixed. Whereas if you stay in the same spot, you will never be able to have a comeback. The comeback is always stronger than the setback, and this is what will empower you to make a decision, even a bad decision that can be corrected. This has been proven to work time and again, but no decision will leave you feeling like you are in a status quo, and you will certainly stunt your own growth. We cannot stop. We have to keep on moving. There's no such thing as perfection. There is such thing as decisions. Decisions have to be made. Sometimes with hindsight, they're not the greatest decisions, but at least they are a decision. When is the best time to plant your tree? It was 5 years ago. And the next best time to plant your tree is definitely today. Procrastination, paralysis by analysis, nothing is a perfect excuse to lodge you out of quicksand. And that is absolutely a place where you don't want to be, right? Now I have another quote. This time it's by an unknown author, but it's also been recommended by one of my favorite girls on the group, and it is, I believe I can, so I will. And again, I tried to check if I could find an author, but the author is unknown. And it really means that in the face of adversity, can we really forge forward? Can I do absolutely anything if I believe I can? And the answer is a definite yes. Really, it's only in our head. We see life in filters and lenses. I mean, let's look at religions. Let's look at politics. Why are people so polarized? Because everyone believes that the way he's seeing things is the right way. Right or wrong, it's our perception of what is right or wrong. There is no right or wrong, but there is a whole space of maybe and in-betweens. Our brains are totally receptive, and if we believe that I can, so I will, I believe that this is possibly one of the best mantras that will help us project forward and overcome obstacles, challenges, and setbacks. The truth is that such mantras have been used since time immemorial. They've been used before wars. They've been used before important games. They've been used before entering a boardroom. They've been used in every single day of our life, because this is what helps us build our strength and build our physiognomy in order to be able to project forward. So every circumstance depends and demands that we build our mental strength, so that we build also our physical strength and our awareness to grow into our full potential. Setbacks damage our potential. Being unable to nurture your mind over matter, is what is going to cripple the strength that is within you. You have to learn to face adversity, because that's the only way that you will be able to bring enough strength to propel forward. Now, I know I've repeated propel forward for so much, but it is how we gain momentum. It is how we go forward in life. Now, I'm going to go to my fifth mantra, which is my favorite one, and because it came from my father. Now, my father has been long gone, but the wisdom he left me has been unbelievable. And he had once said, and then kept repeating it time and again, dwell only on the problems that you can fix. Now, my father was very poor of means, but like I said, his wisdom stayed with me, and it was the richest gift that he could ever give me. Whenever he saw me really stressed about problems, facing huge difficulties, especially when I started my business, which incidentally he didn't think much of in the very beginning, but supported me morally, he used to always say, dwell only on the problems you can fix. Don't burn your energy. Don't put up too much emotions in something that in perspective will pale in its intensity. So many times we need to stop and ask ourselves, do I have control to fix this problem, irrespective of whether it's you who's created the problem or someone else or circumstance has created this problem or this setback? We have to ask ourselves, really, can I actually fix this problem, or is this beyond my control? Dean Graziosi is another one of my mentors and coaches, and he amplifies this and says, a success mentality teaches you not to waste your energy on things that you can't change. Unfortunately, it's a brutal truth in life. There's no such thing that you can have control over and not fix. But if there's something that is beyond your control, you can't fix it. We can't prevent bad things from happening to us. We can't fret about things that just are increasing our tension and are just increasing the possibility of disaster, but we have no control over. In order to help yourself reduce stress from worrying, fretting, here are a few questions that you should be asking yourself. Do I have control over the situation? Yes or no? Can I influence a different decision in this circumstance? Yes or no? Why am I so afraid of this outcome? How is it going to impact me? Am I ruminating over something constructive or negative? go back and start by chanting the mantras all over again. So, what is the bottom line that it's going to take us to overtake and overcome our setbacks? When the going gets tough, the tough gets going, and life shows us its rough side, and it can be so hard. But guess what? We're wired with a lot of resilience. Nothing is beyond our possibility. Nothing is beyond our reach, and we can succeed. Coincidences don't really happen, but challenges do. Sometimes it takes us talking to someone who has more experience or who has empathy and who will give us clarity. In other occasions, we might need to acquire new skills in order to be able to move on with our journey. You can take one thing for granted. Life is never going to be easy. It's only going to get tougher. And if you are going to decide to focus, then you are going to get help and you are going to become tougher and stronger. I certainly hope that these 5 mantras will help ease the pain sometimes, will give you the strength, will keep you on track, will keep you determined, will keep you focused. This is how we ultimately overcome very difficult challenges. I hope that there's been at least one particular mantra that has resonated with you today, and you can drop me a comment and let me know if you've liked it or whether you've actually used it in the past. And as a key takeaway from this, I would always like you to remember one important thing. On the other side of your greatest fears lives your greatest life. Thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed this. Like I've reminded you, please subscribe and like because it matters so much to us, and we will be bringing you on something else in the next session.